Now let's talk about developing routine messages. Now, what are routine messages? What is routine? Routine is something that happens regularly. Routine could be something that happens every day. Routine could be something that happens once in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, 15 days, every month. That too, everything. Everything that happens with regularity is routine. So routine messages means messages that you exchange in course of your business regularly. So things that you write regularly for business. Routine does not mean unimportant. In fact, routine is the most important thing. Without a routine, the world would not be there. If nature stops following its routine, the seasons, the cycles of nature, the routine of day and night, if that were to stop, life would stop. So don't ever think that routine means unimportant. Routine is the foundation of everything. So the foundation of your written communication is also routine messages. So if you master routine messages, that means you are on the road to mastering written communication. All right. So quickly you should be able to finish your routine work that you do regularly, because it should not require you too much time or effort to get all this done, because you're going to be doing it regularly. And as you do it a greater number of times, you become better at it. Now, that does not mean routine messages are not to be planned well or drafted well or reviewed. All that will happen. What else will happen? You will do it quickly. You will become so good at it that you'll be able to do it quickly every time. So now what are the components of a routine message? So we are going to look at a lot of routine messages today, and some formats also, some good and some not so good, so that we can make a distinction. So in every message, there is a primary message. Then there are going to be some paragraphs which describe what the primary message is. Then if there is something that is a call to action, or you need to restate some things for your audience, for your reader, then we would state those things. And then goodwill. Goodwill is something that gets created every time you say something good. Even if you're writing a bad news message, now we'll be coming to bad news messages later. I'll teach you how to write good news messages and bad news messages. So goodwill is something that gets established through a good gesture, through a good sentence, through something good. So in every message that you create, goodwill should be an integral part of it. So as we go along, we are going to look at a lot of things. Now, any process that we talk about, and a lot of things that I teach you about the writing process, are true for the speaking process as well. In fact, a lot of speeches need to be written down first. Even if you're not writing something down, what are you doing? Writing it down here. So if I don't write it on paper, that doesn't mean I don't write it. Constructing it means I'm writing it. So if I have content and I start structuring the content in my mind, I start structuring it I take my diary and I start, you know, writing things down. 1, 2, 3. These are the points that I'm going to talk about. What am I doing? I'm structuring it. I'm writing it down. And while I'm writing it down here, it's getting written here as well. So everything that we are talking about writing will apply to speaking. A lot of things that are there in speaking, they are extra from writing, say body language, non-verbal communication. So that is an extra powerful thing that you've got for speaking. So the first and foremost thing before we start writing down anything or before we even start speaking is audience analysis. Who is my reader? Who is my listener? Who is going to be watching me? Now, just now, when I'm creating these messages for you, I'm always thinking about you. That on the other side, I have somebody. That somebody is looking towards me for learning good written English. So, if that is what I have in my mind, what do I actually then need to do? I need to think about you. I need to think about the requirements that you may have. I need to think about ways and means of how I could be helping you. Plus, I need to think about how you would be able to receive this in the best way. Once we have done that, I come to the next part where whatever ideas I have, whatever content I have, and even if I don't have content, I have an idea of what I want to convey to you. In that case, I have to look for relevant material, which is accurate, which is relevant, which is suited to what I actually want to convey. So I have to gather all that. This is the first part. Thinking about who this content is for and then gathering relevant content. After that, the moment I've done that, I need to create a direct, complete, detailed message for you. So a lot of people, they fail to do this process. They get down to writing directly. So they've neither gathered their ideas together, facts, figures, data, nor have they thought about the audience, nor have they structured. So if you don't follow the process, what is finally going to happen? Your communication is not going to be very effective. So the writing, speaking, these are all process oriented things. If you don't follow the process, you don't get the results. So here in these courses, I'm talking about some processes. I'm trying to explain to you in very simple ways how these processes work. So if you're going to understand the process, then what happens? Half the battle is won. But what do I need to do after that? After understanding the process, I need to apply it. You apply it once, you apply it twice, apply it 3 times, you'll start feeling the changes. You'll start noticing the changes. You'll say, oh, I see, my writing seems to have improved. What have I done that has helped me improve my writing? So, what have you done? Nothing. You only started following a process. So, this is the power of the process. You understand? So, if you really want your writing to become powerful, start working on this. Start working on the process. All right. Now let's go to the next slide. So there are two, three things which are very, very important, especially in business messages. One of the things is the tone. What is tone? Tone is nothing but the underlying or the overlying emotion in the message. If it's written in a respectful tone, then the respectful tone will be there in the entire message. Even if the writer is not happy with the reader, the tone is still respectful and courteous. If somebody is very angry at something and is shooting a mail, the tone may become a little discourteous. Understand this. We spoke about goodwill a little while back. Your tone decides the goodwill. So even after being very angry at something, even after being deeply inconvenienced by something, if you still write in a courteous and respectful way, it creates a lot of goodwill. So goodwill is part of every word that you write. You can't suddenly just write a line in the end saying, oh, you are very great, or I really respect you, and that creates goodwill. Goodwill has to come from the message. Next thing, once we have thought about the tone, okay, this is going to be the overall tone of my message, we start thinking about the style. See, a lot of speakers, they use seemingly very, very simple words, but the impact of those words is huge. That's because of writing style. The way they create short sentences, paragraphs, action oriented language, how they connect ideas. You don't need to use very difficult words. No, you need to use very skilled ways of associating words with each other, creating an amalgamation of ideas. What is amalgamation? So, a union of ideas, how to fuse them together. You need to have great logic when you start speaking or start writing. Sense will come from there, effectiveness will come from there, power will come from there. So, you want it to become powerful, start thinking like this. Then you'll develop a great style of speaking. You'll develop a wonderful writing style. Then people are going to say, oh, all right, oh, this person has written it. Oh my God, excellent, great. Now, then we start formatting what we are writing. Now, there are so many text editors available to us. There are so many tools available to us today. But in routine business correspondence, don't try to put too many design elements or too many fonts and too many changes and italics and headlines and headings and bolds and all caps and all that. No, that is distracting. That will distract from the message. So three things we spoke about in the last slide: audience, idea development, and message structuring. The next slide, we are speaking about the tone, we are talking about the style, and we are talking about the design. Now, as we go along, we are also going to see these things in action. Now, When we want to write something, the first thing that we need to do is take one test. This test you should take while speaking and while writing. Is what I'm going to write or speak correct or not? So this is the test which is called the FAIR test. Do not include things you are not sure of. Do not include anything that you feel is not going to be fair. The next thing is, after I've typed my document, I don't want it to go with typo errors. Typos they are called. Typewriting errors. See, A and S are close by on the keyboard. So by mistake, if I'm writing my name, somebody's writing my name, ATUL. And instead of that, pressing A, they press S. So STUL. Atul becomes tool. Would you like that? You might like it, but I won't. It's my name. Can't play with my name. And then if you don't check, if you don't do proofreading, then it's going to go with that error. And when I get your mail, I get your document, I'm going to feel really bad. Yeah. So you don't want that to happen. There'll be some grammar errors. There'll be some things that spell check won't check. So you check. Apart from the spell check and grammar check, be your own check. So do this. This will also establish your credibility as a wonderful writer. Next, if you're writing something which is very important, or if you're just starting out in office, or if you're not so sure of your English, it is always good to have another colleague or your manager or your supervisor, somebody, if you have a junior who's good at English, no harm in asking that person to go through it. All right. So these things you must always do before you send out your document, before you press the send button. It goes.